Ladies and gentlemen, most people never fail because of what they can't do. They fail because of what they keep telling themselves they can't do. The battle isn't outside of you, it's inside your own mind. The enemy isn't your circumstances, it's your thinking. If you want to change your life, you've got to first change your thoughts, because your life will always move in the direction of your most dominant thought. Most people don't realize that their mind is the master key to everything they desire in life, everything, your success, your peace, your wealth, your happiness. It all starts in one place, your thinking. You can change your job, your city, even the people around you. But if you don't change your mind, nothing else will ever truly change, because the mind is the factory that produces the reality you live in. Whatever you allow to run through your thoughts becomes the pattern your life follows. Let me tell you something powerful. Your mind is either your best friend or your greatest enemy. It's not what happens to you that defines you. It's what you think about what happens to you. Two people can face the same storm. One grows stronger and the other gives up. The difference isn't the storm, it's the mindset. One says, this is the end. The other says, this is just the beginning. Your thoughts determine which one you become. If you want to change your circumstances, start by changing the conversation inside your head. Every single day, your mind is having a meeting about your future, and you're the chairman of that meeting. Are you approving ideas that move you forward or thoughts that hold you back? You can't think defeat and expect victory. You can't think poverty and expect prosperity. You can't think small and expect to live large. The quality of your life will always follow the quality of your thoughts. Here's a truth that'll shake you. Your life will never go higher than your mindset. If your mind is limited, your life will be limited. If your thinking is poor, your decisions will be poor. But when you elevate your thinking, everything else begins to rise with it. That's why you can't afford to let your mind dwell on fear, doubt, or negativity. Every negative thought you entertain becomes a chain around your potential. And the more you think small, the tighter that chain becomes. Now here's the hook. Most people think success starts with action, but it doesn't. Success starts with imagination. Before you can live it, you've got to see it. Before you can hold it in your hand, you've got to hold it in your mind. The mind is like a projector. Whatever picture you play on the inside will eventually show up on the outside. So if you're tired of living a movie you didn't choose, it's time to change the film. Stop replaying your failures and start visualizing your victories. Let me ask you something. What are you feeding your mind? Because your mind is a garden, and every thought is a seed. If you plant negative seeds, you'll grow negative results. You can't plant weeds and expect roses. If you constantly think about problems, you'll attract more problems. But if you train your mind to focus on solutions, you'll start seeing opportunities where others see obstacles. That's the secret of transformation. Not changing what's outside, but mastering what's inside. You have to guard your mind like your future depends on it, because it does. Protect it from gossip, fear, and toxic conversations. Don't let the world dump its trash into your mental space. What you allow into your head determines what will flow out of your life. When you feed your mind faith, possibility, and vision, your decisions begin to align with destiny. You stop reacting and start creating. Here's another hook. When you think better, you live better. It's not magic, it's mindset. Every invention, every success story, every breakthrough began in someone's mind before it existed in the world. Someone thought differently. Someone refused to let negative thinking dictate their possibilities. They saw what others couldn't see, believed what others doubted, and acted when others hesitated. That's the power of a renewed mind. Don't underestimate how powerful one shift in thinking can be. One new thought can open 1,000 new doors. One belief in your ability can erase years of self-doubt. One decision to think higher can rewrite your entire story. You've got to talk to yourself like a winner even when you don't feel like one, because the mind listens to your words. It builds reality from what you say. Speak life, speak vision, speak faith until your thoughts align with your words and your actions follow your thoughts. So the next time you catch yourself thinking small, stop and remind yourself who you really are. You are not the sum of your past mistakes. You are the architect of your future. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are the creator of your destiny. The thoughts you choose today are building the life you'll live tomorrow. Don't hand the keys of your destiny to doubt. Take them back. Decide that your mind will serve your goals, not sabotage them. Because when you master your mind, you master your world. When you think from faith instead of fear, from purpose instead of pain, from vision instead of limitation, you start unlocking doors you didn't even know existed. Your mind is the master key. And the moment you turn it with belief, you'll discover that everything you've been searching for was already within you. You can't stop negative thoughts from showing up, but you can stop them from taking control. Every day, thousands of thoughts run through your mind, and not all of them are friendly. Some whisper fear, some echo doubt, and some try to convince you that you're not enough. But here's the truth. Just because a thought appears doesn't mean it deserves your agreement. You are not your thoughts. You are the thinker. And the moment you understand that, you take back your power. Most people lose the battle of life not because of what's happening around them, but because of what's happening inside them. They let negative thinking become the loudest voice in the room. They replay their failures, magnify their insecurities, and let fear sit in the driver's seat. But the most dangerous thing about negativity is not that it visits. It's that it stays. It stays when you entertain it. It grows when you feed it. It becomes your reality when you give it your agreement. You've got to stop renting space in your mind to thoughts that don't serve your destiny. Here's the hook. Every negative thought is an invitation to a lower version of yourself. When you accept that invitation, you shrink. But when you reject it, you rise. You can't walk into your future if you keep answering the door to your past. Every time fear knocks, let faith answer. Every time doubt whispers, let purpose speak louder. You have the authority to control which thoughts stay and which ones go. Don't let your mind become a battlefield. Make it a sanctuary for possibility. You have to treat your mind like prime real estate. Would you let a stranger walk into your house and start tearing down your walls? Of course not. So why let destructive thoughts tear down your peace, your confidence, and your focus? Guard your mental space with discipline. The same way you protect your valuables, protect your vision. Don't let negativity rob you of your purpose. You are the gatekeeper of your mind. What gets in only gets in because you allow it. Negative thinking loves comfort zones. It thrives when you stop growing. It wants you to stay small because small thinking doesn't require courage. It wants you to believe that your dream is too big, that your timing has passed, that your effort won't matter. But those are lies designed to keep you from your greatness. You've got to look that voice in the eye and say, not today. Every time you reject negativity, you strengthen the muscle of faith. And the stronger that muscle gets, the easier it becomes to silence the noise. Here's another hook. Your mind will believe whatever you repeat to it the most. If you repeat fear, it will produce hesitation. If you repeat faith, it will produce action. The repetition of your thoughts becomes the rhythm of your life. That's why affirmations are powerful, not because they're magic words, but because they're mental conditioning. When you say, I am capable, I am strong, I am chosen, you're not trying to convince the world. You're training your mind to believe the truth. Don't fight negative thinking with emotion. Fight it with awareness. The moment you notice a destructive thought, pause. Ask yourself, is this thought helping me or hurting me? If it's not serving your growth, replace it. Don't just reject negativity. Replace it with purpose, gratitude, and possibility. The mind hates a vacuum. If you remove a thought, you must fill that space with something stronger. That's how you reprogram your thinking. That's how you turn weakness into wisdom. Negative thoughts are like weeds. They grow automatically. But positive thoughts need intentional planting. That's why mindset isn't built overnight. It's built daily. It's built every time you choose gratitude over complaint, faith over fear, progress over perfection. You have to keep pulling the weeds so your dreams can breathe. You can't just think differently once. You've got to think differently consistently. That's how you take control of your life at the root level. Let's be real. You can't live a positive life with a negative attitude. You can't attract abundance with a scarcity mindset. And you can't reach your destiny while replaying your defeats. The mind will try to drag you backward, but you've got to remind it who's in charge. You are the driver, not the passenger. You decide where your focus goes. You decide what gets your energy. You decide what kind of life your thoughts are building. The next time negativity tries to creep in, don't fight it with frustration. Fight it with faith. Declare, I am not my past. I am not my fear. I am not my failure. Speak power into the atmosphere until your mind aligns with your mission. The moment you start choosing what to think, you begin choosing what to create. You stop reacting to life and start designing it. Refuse to let negative thoughts control you, because when you silence the noise of doubt, you begin to hear the sound of purpose. When you stop feeding fear, faith gets louder. When you stop believing the lies, truth becomes your new language. And that's when you discover something extraordinary, that your mind was never the problem. It was just waiting for you to take control. Your words are the blueprint of your life. Every time you speak, you're building something, either your future or your failure. The power of life and death isn't in the situation, it's in the tongue. You can talk yourself into peace, or you can talk yourself into pressure. You can talk yourself into confidence, or you can talk yourself into fear. The difference between an average life and an extraordinary one often comes down to what you keep saying when no one else is listening. Here's the truth. You can't speak defeat and expect victory. You can't speak fear and expect faith. You can't speak doubt and expect breakthrough. The words that leave your mouth are the seeds that enter your future. And whatever you keep watering with repetition is what's going to grow. The universe responds to language. Your mind responds to repetition. Your spirit responds to belief. So if you don't like what you're seeing, you need to check what you've been saying. Here's a hook. Every time you open your mouth, you are either casting a spell or breaking one. Words are spiritual. They carry creative energy. That's why when you declare something long enough, it begins to take form. People wonder why their life feels stuck, but they don't realize they're speaking their own limitations into existence every single day. You can't keep saying, I'm not good enough, and expect confidence to show up. You can't keep saying, I'll never make it, and expect doors to open. You have to speak the language of success long before you see the evidence of it. Your words are commands that your subconscious follows. Every I am statement you make becomes a personal instruction your mind begins to obey. When you say, I am tired, I am broke, I am stuck, your brain gets busy creating that reality. But when you say, I am powerful, I am focused, I am favored, your mind begins looking for opportunities to match your declarations. It's not magic, it's mindset. You're programming your mental operating system with the language you use. You've got to stop speaking from where you are and start speaking from where you're going. Stop narrating your limitations and start declaring your transformation. The reason many people never rise higher is because their words never rise higher. They talk about what they fear instead of what they're fighting for. They magnify their problems instead of magnifying their purpose. If all you ever speak about are your obstacles, you'll never create room for solutions. Speak possibility until it becomes visible. Here's another hook. Your words are your construction crew. They're building something every day, brick by brick. The question is, what are they building? Are they building walls that trap you or bridges that take you to your destiny? Every complaint lays another brick in the wall of limitation. Every declaration of faith lays a step on the bridge to freedom. So before you speak, ask yourself, am I building my dream or am I building my doubt? You must learn to speak life into your future, even when your present doesn't make sense. Faith-filled speech isn't denial, it's direction. It's not pretending everything is perfect. It's declaring that perfection is in progress. When you say, I am growing, I am learning, I am getting better, you're aligning your language with progress. You're calling things that are not yet seen into existence. And that's how miracles begin, not with sight, but with sound. Most people think they'll speak differently when life changes, but the truth is life changes when you speak differently. The shift begins when your mouth starts agreeing with your potential instead of your problems. Your words can lift you out of a valley faster than complaining can dig you out. Stop talking about how big the mountain is and start talking about how big your faith is. Because what you focus on expands, and what you speak about, you eventually step into. The people who change their world don't wait for evidence. They create it with their confession. Every great leader, every visionary, every game changer learned to master the power of their words. They spoke as if it were already done. They declared success when it didn't make sense. They called themselves capable before anyone believed in them. And eventually the world caught up with their words. That's not arrogance, that's awareness. They understood that creation begins in conversation. So when life challenges you, don't let negative words be your response. When doubt shows up, say something different. Speak victory even when you feel wary. Declare purpose even when you're uncertain. Because your words are not just sounds, they are signals that shape the atmosphere around you. Every sentence you speak carries the potential to shift your environment, your emotions, and your energy. Speak life when others speak fear. Speak abundance when others speak lack. Speak healing when others speak hurt. The more you speak power, the more you attract it. You will never rise above the level of your language. So if you want to live higher, you've got to talk higher. Speak like you're already walking in the blessing. Speak like you've already overcome. Speak like the victory is already yours. Because the moment your words align with your belief, your reality begins to follow. You cannot step into the future while holding hands with your past. The person you were yesterday cannot take you where you're destined to go tomorrow. There comes a moment in every life when you have to decide, do I stay comfortable with the familiar, or do I grow into the version me that's waiting on the other side of change? Growth always demands letting go. You can't carry your old mindset into a new season. You can't hold on to who you were and expect to become who you're meant to be. Here's the truth. Transformation is not about adding more. It's about releasing what no longer serves you. You don't need to become something new. You need to uncover what's already inside you. But that means shedding old habits, outdated beliefs, and the limiting stories you keep telling yourself. The hardest person to let go of is the version of you that survived, but that version can't help you thrive. You've got to thank your past self for getting you here, then give yourself permission to move forward. Here's a hook. The bridge to your best self is built with the bricks of surrender. Every time you release fear, release doubt, release the need for control, you step closer to freedom. Most people never become their best self because they're too busy protecting their old identity. They keep defending the limitations that are holding them back. They say, that's just who I am. No, that's just who you've been. Who you are becoming is far greater than who you've been. You can't grow and cling at the same time. You can't evolve while holding on to the people, patterns, or perspectives that belong to your past. If you want to step into purpose, you have to be willing to be uncomfortable. Change doesn't feel safe at first because your old self will fight to stay alive. It'll tell you, stay where it's familiar. Don't risk it. Don't dream too big. But that voice isn't truth. It's fear disguised as logic. And if you keep listening to it, you'll end up existing instead of living. Here's another hook. Life rewards the brave, not the comfortable. The universe moves for the person who dares to move beyond their old limits. Every new level of your life will demand a new version of you. The question is, are you willing to release the old version to make room for the new one? You can't pour new wine into old wineskins. You can't pour new purpose into an old mindset. You can't receive fresh blessings with hands that won't let go of what's behind. Your best self is not hiding from you. It's waiting for you to stop hiding behind excuses. It's waiting for you to release the guilt, the shame, the fear, the comparison, and step boldly into who you were created to be. You don't have to be perfect to evolve. You just have to be willing to learn, to stretch, to start over, to believe again. Every version of you that failed was necessary to prepare the version of you that will win. The pain had a purpose. The delay had direction, but none of it was meant to define you, only to refine you. You've got to be brave enough to outgrow people and places that no longer align with your purpose. Not everyone can go with you to the next level. Some people were meant for your journey, not your destination, and that's okay. Letting go doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care enough about your destiny to stop settling for what keeps you small. The longer you hold on to what's gone, the longer you delay what's coming. Here's the thing, growth is uncomfortable, but stagnation is deadly. It might hurt to leave behind old patterns, but it hurts worse to wake up years later realizing you never became the person you were capable of being. The pain of discipline is temporary, but the pain of regret lasts a lifetime. Every time you choose growth over comfort, you're telling the universe you're ready for more, and when you're ready, opportunity shows up, doors open. Paths appear. Your past may have shaped you, but it does not own you. You are not defined by your mistakes. You are refined by your mindset. The old version of you that doubted, that feared, that hesitated, that version has done its job. It taught you strength, resilience, and wisdom. But now it's time to let it rest. The next chapter of your life can't begin until you close the old one with faith, not frustration. Here's a final hook. The person you're becoming is worth every ounce of discomfort it takes to get there. Don't fear change, fear staying the same. Don't mourn what you lose, celebrate what you gain. When you release who you were, you create space for who you're meant to be. The process may stretch you, but it will not break you. You were built for evolution. You were designed for growth. You were created to become, and everything you've been through has been preparing you for exactly this moment. The most powerful decision you will ever make is the decision to change your mind, because the moment you change your mind, everything else begins to change. You can't wait for the perfect time to start thinking differently. You can't wait for life to make sense before you move. Transformation doesn't begin when the world gives you permission. It begins the moment you give yourself permission. Change doesn't start in the calendar, it starts in your commitment. Every new version of you begins with one decision. Today, I will think better, live better, and be better. Here's the truth. Nothing in your life shifts until you decide that staying the same costs too much. The pain of growth is never greater than the pain of stagnation. Too many people keep waiting for motivation when what they really need is movement. You won't always feel ready, but readiness isn't a feeling, it's a decision. Decide that no matter how hard it gets, you're going to show up for your own potential. You've spent enough time doubting yourself, shrinking yourself, and second-guessing yourself. Now it's time to make a choice to rise. Here's a hook. Your life won't change when the clock strikes midnight. It changes when you strike your old excuses. Every dream you've been praying for is waiting on your decision to believe you're worthy of it. Every opportunity you've been chasing is waiting on your decision to prepare for it. It's not about luck. It's about alignment. When your thoughts, your words, and your actions agree, the universe responds. Every transformation starts with a thought, but it's completed through consistency. One decision isn't enough. You have to make it every day. You have to wake up and choose excellence when it's inconvenient. Choose focus when distractions are loud. Choose gratitude when frustration is easier. Your mindset must become your daily discipline, not your occasional motivation, because consistency creates character, and character creates results. Here's another hook. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you want to be. Too many people wait to feel inspired before they take action, but successful people act their way into inspiration. You don't wait to feel confident before you move. You move until confidence shows up. You don't wait to feel ready, you start, and readiness meets you on the road. When you decide to think better, you take responsibility for your outcomes instead of blaming your obstacles. The moment you make a true decision, hesitation loses its power. There's no more, maybe someday. There's only, this is the day. And that shift in energy changes everything. Because when your decision is real, your effort becomes focused. You stop negotiating with your goals. You stop entertaining distractions. You stop apologizing for wanting more. You move differently when you know your purpose. You speak differently when you know where you're going. You walk differently when you've decided that average is no longer an option. Most people wait for clarity before they commit, but clarity comes from commitment. You won't know every step before you start, and that's okay. Just start walking. The path reveals itself to the person who refuses to stand still. Stop waiting for conditions to be perfect. Perfection is the enemy of progress. The secret isn't to have it all figured out. It's to be faithful with the little you have. Progress begins with action. You have to think higher than your circumstances. You have to think beyond your environment. Every great success story began with someone who refused to let their current situation define their future. They made a decision that their past wouldn't dictate their possibilities. You have that same power. You have the ability to design a new reality simply by deciding to think differently. Every time you choose a powerful thought over a fearful one, you're writing a new chapter in your life story. Here's a hook. Your mind is the engine. Your faith is the fuel, and your decision is the ignition. You can sit in a parked car and wish to move, but nothing happens until you turn the key. The same is true for your life. Stop wishing. Stop waiting. Turn the key. The engine of transformation doesn't start with miracles. It starts with momentum. Once you decide, the energy of that decision attracts everything aligned with your purpose. The decision to think better is a declaration that your future deserves more than your excuses. It's saying, I refuse to be the same person I was yesterday. It's understanding that success isn't a destination. It's a mindset. And when you live with that mindset daily, you start noticing how powerful you truly are, because you were never created to live in limitation. You were created to grow, to expand, to become more. Every time you decide to think better, you rewrite your story. Every time you decide to live better, you break a cycle. Every time you decide to be better, you become a light for someone else who's still trapped in doubt. The ripple effect of one powerful decision can change generations. That's how legacy begins. Not in money, not in fame, but in mindset. So decide today, not tomorrow, not when life feels easy, not when everything falls into place. Today, because transformation doesn't wait for timing, it waits for commitment. When you make that decision, your energy shifts, your vision sharpens, and your future opens. You start becoming the person you were always meant to be, the one who doesn't wait for change but creates it. So today, make a decision, not tomorrow, not next week. Today, decide that negativity has no more room in your life. Decide that you are going to walk, talk, and think like the person you were created to be. Because the greatest transformation doesn't happen when your circumstances change. It happens when you change. Stop negative thinking. Start positive living. Step into your best self, because your next level is waiting for you to believe it's possible.